Good evening, this is Nova. Tonight, we take a closer look at South Africa's energy crisis. A crisis that has driven millions of South Africans to finally kiss Eskom goodbye. According to the Nedbank Group Economic Unit's latest energy tracker, South Africa's power supply remains heavily constrained, despite the government's claims of stabilization. Demand for electricity continues to outstrip available supply by up to 24% when compared with the 2019 to 2021 average. And although Eskom insists it is reducing breakdowns and boosting reliability, the numbers tell a different story. Eskom is surviving not because its plants are performing better, but because demand has collapsed. South Africans, from households to large industries, are increasingly moving away from the national grid. This has eased pressure on the utility, but it is hardly a victory. Eskom remains dangerously dependent on load reductions, imports from neighboring countries, and most controversially, open-cycle gas turbines, or OCGTs, which burn expensive diesel fuel. But here's where the story turns. Since 2022, when government scrapped licensing requirements for private power generation, South Africa has seen a sharp surge in renewable investment. Solar PV installations, battery storage systems, and even wind farms have grown rapidly. In 2025 alone, an estimated 7,000 megawatts of renewable energy has been installed onto the grid, roughly equivalent to adding a new power station. Yet despite these positive gains, South Africa's energy security remains compromised. Breakdowns across Eskom's fleet are still running at more than 10,000 megawatts lost, a level as bad as during the peak of the crisis in 2022. While officials boast about improvements, experts note that before 2019, breakdowns rarely exceeded 10,000 megawatts. The uncomfortable truth. What keeps the lights on today is not Eskom's resilience, but rather diesel, imports, and lower demand from fed-up South Africans who have turned to alternatives. Nedbank economists argue the real solution lies in a dramatic and sustained shift to renewable energy. They warn that until South Africa reduces dependence on compensatory measures like OCGTs, load reduction, and imports, the grid will remain vulnerable and load shedding will remain a threat. In their words, despite year-on-year improvements in the EAF and load shedding, energy supply is still insecure given the poor state of infrastructure. The message is clear: South Africans are no longer waiting for Eskom. From private households to large corporations, the exodus from the national grid has begun in earnest. Eskom may still power the country, but the country is already moving on without Eskom. You're watching Nova. Reliable news, reliable truth.